Welcome, future educators. Let's just dive right into this explainer and look at how we can actually turn exam theory into confident, practical classroom music moments. Whether you've got a whole background in music or, you've literally never picked up an instrument in your life, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're talking about Master Competency 002C, and we're going to transform what honestly looks like a pretty dry academic standard into a vibrant, workable strategy that you can use in your future classroom. So let's start with a scenario. Imagine stepping into your very own classroom. You've got a room full of energetic students, and you've just handed out rhythm sticks, maracas, and a few xylophones to, let's say, 30 highly caffeinated 8-year-olds. If you don't have a solid game plan, well, it goes from a fun music lesson to absolute chaos in about 4 seconds flat. As a teacher candidate, picturing your first music lesson might feel a bit overwhelming if you're imagining this cacophony of unstructured noise instead of a unified, joyful song. And hey, it is completely normal to feel a little anxiety about this. So the big question staring you in the face is, how do you actually turn that noise into music? To answer this, we really need to understand how to practically organize a classroom to make music accessible, purposeful, and engaging for every single student in that room. It's all about structure. When we provide the right framework, students don't just make noise, right? They collaborate. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Classroom Music Challenge. Okay, let's look at what the Texas exam actually expects you to do when you're faced with this specific instructional hurdle. Here's the exact standard. Competency 002C asks you to guide students in creating simple song arrangements and accompaniments using voices, percussion, and melody instruments. Now, if you're hearing that and feeling a little intimidated, take a deep breath. This standard is simply asking you to know how to adapt vocal and instrumental music for your specific setting. You're just the facilitator of a musical experience. And I absolutely love this quote from the source material. It says, "The emphasis is not on advanced composition, but on helping students creatively organize and perform music." You do not need a music degree to succeed here, and you certainly don't need to be Mozart. Your primary goal is to foster creativity and participation, not to write some complex symphony. You're simply organizing the tools so your students can shine. Moving right along to Section 2, Understanding Musical Arrangements. Let's break down the basic toolkit you're going to use. First up is an arrangement. An arrangement is simply an adaptation of an existing piece of music for a particular group or purpose. Think of an arrangement like taking a really familiar song, maybe Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or a simple folk tune, and customizing it so it perfectly fits the unique abilities of your current classroom. You are always adjusting the music to fit the students, never forcing the students to fit the music. Next, we have accompaniment. This is defined as the musical support played or sung along with a melody. Think of it kind of like the canvas that the main painting sits on. Accompaniment is just the supportive background texture that makes the main tune sound full, rich, and complete. It gives the students who aren't singing the main melody a really vital, active role in the performance. Then there's your melody instrument. These are instruments capable of playing a tune or melody, like a recorder or a xylophone. When a student uses a melody instrument, they are the ones carrying that recognizable tune that everyone else can hum along to. Now, these instruments do require a bit more fine motor control, which is definitely an important consideration when you're planning out your lesson. And finally, classroom percussion. These are your rhythm sticks, drums, maracas, tambourines, the whole shebang. Classroom percussion provides the heartbeat of the music, allowing your students to physically connect with repeating rhythm patterns. And the best part? These are incredibly accessible instruments. Almost any student, totally regardless of their musical background, can grab a maraca and keep a steady beat, which makes them an incredible tool for immediate inclusion. All right, let's get into Section 3, Real Classroom Application. So how does this actually look in practice? Well, we can divide the class into 3 manageable groups. Step 1, you've got the melody group, and they'll be singing. Step 2, the rhythm group, who are playing a repeating pattern on percussion instruments. And Step 3, the accompaniment group, performing a simple little pattern on xylophones. By dividing the class up into these 3 distinct groups, you instantly transform a chaotic room into a highly structured, collaborative musical performance. Every single student has a designated role, and suddenly, that potential noise, it becomes a layered, beautiful arrangement. Which brings us to Section 4, Reflecting on Your Choices. Now, I really want you to put your teacher hat on for a second and ask yourself, how could this 3-group strategy support diverse learners and differing ability levels? Well, think about how assigning a simple rhythm stick pattern versus a xylophone melody allows you to instantly scaffold the lesson for different developmental stages. If a student struggles with fine motor skills, or maybe they're just super shy about singing, handing them a drum to play a steady, repeating beat gives them immediate success and a real sense of belonging in the ensemble. You are differentiating instruction seamlessly, right there through music. Because here is the real secret sauce. Effective teachers match arrangements directly to student abilities. A successful music lesson is not about the complexity of the piece you chose, but about how well the arrangement fits your student's current capabilities. It is all about creating a safe, welcoming space where every single student can contribute to the final product without feeling overwhelmed. Let's wrap up the theory side in Section 5, Key Exam Takeaways. As you're prepping for the exam, you absolutely have to lock in these 3 fundamental takeaways. First, teachers help students create simple arrangements. Keep it simple. Second, arrangements should match student abilities. Always meet the students exactly where they are. And third, creativity and participation are emphasized way over technical perfection or advanced composition. If you anchor your exam answers to these 3 core principles, simplicity, ability matching, and participation, you are going to demonstrate exactly the kind of pedagogical mindset the exam is looking for. And finally, Section 6, your future classroom. I really want you to leave this explainer asking yourself, what will this actually look like when I am teaching my own students? Imagine stepping into your classroom tomorrow. Because you truly understand Competency 002C, you're confident. You know exactly how to hand out maracas, rhythm sticks, and xylophones. You know how to group your kids, assign roles that perfectly match their abilities, and guide them in creating something wonderful together. You aren't just managing noise anymore. You are creating an environment where every single student feels like a valued musician. Keep that vision in your mind as you study. You are going to be an absolutely incredible teacher.